What would you do if your entire world crumbled in a matter of minutes? You've built a life, a family, and placed your trust in the person you love, only to find out that everything you believed in was a lie. This is the story of betrayal, an unimaginable, gut-wrenching betrayal that tears through a man's heart, leaving him questioning every moment of his life. Welcome to Fractured Bonds, where every story reveals a deeper truth. I lay in bed, unable to close my eyes. Every time I tried, the same haunting image would flash before me: my wife cheating with a man I once considered a friend. A man I now despised. I had just finished a grueling 8-hour shift and came home, mentally drained but somewhat uplifted because I had been transferred to a new department. I thought it would be a night like any other, until it wasn't. When I walked through the door, my wife told me she was going to a concert with a girlfriend. She said it would end around 10 p.m., and after dropping her friend off, she'd be home soon after. I had no reason to doubt her, so I thought I'd see her when I got home, chat a little, and hear about her night. I had no idea how wrong I was. I walked into the house at midnight, after my 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. shift, and was surprised to find my oldest child, only 8 years old, still awake watching TV. "Why are you still up?" I asked gently. "I was waiting for Mom to come home," she said, her innocent words cutting me deeper than any knife could. My heart sank. Why was our daughter waiting for her mother so late? What do you do when your child, the one you're supposed to protect, becomes part of the fallout from a betrayal you didn't even see coming? After putting my daughter to bed, a sinking feeling began to gnaw at me. My wife wasn't home yet, which wasn't like her. I texted her 3 times, hoping for a response. Nothing. I tried not to overthink it, but something wasn't right. I trusted her, but doubt started creeping in. And that's when I did something I never thought I'd have to do. I checked her location. My heart raced as I saw where she was. Motel 6. The image of her at a concert shattered in my mind. I checked the location again, hoping it was a mistake. It wasn't. Panic and anger surged inside me, and I couldn't sit still anymore. I knew I had to go there. I got my shoes, jumped in the car, and drove to Motel 6, which was only about 5 minutes away. As I parked nearby, I checked her location again. Her car was still there. I waited, heart pounding, eyes scanning the lot. Less than 5 minutes later, she walked out, with him. They kissed, not once but twice. I couldn't breathe. My world collapsed in that instant. There they were, standing in the open, kissing like nothing was wrong, like my life wasn't being destroyed with every second that passed. What do you say when the love of your life betrays you before your eyes? How do you move forward when your heart is breaking in real time? I couldn't take it anymore. I pulled my car in front of hers, blocking her from leaving. She looked at me, startled, as I approached her window. "Who was that?" I asked, my voice trembling with a mixture of rage and heartbreak. She didn't respond, just kept saying, "Let's talk at home." But I couldn't let it go. I kept asking her the same question over and over, my mind screaming for an explanation, for something that would make sense of this nightmare. As cars began pulling into the motel lot, I had to move the van to the side street. But I wasn't done. I went back to her window, asking her again, "Who was that? Why are you here?" She continued to insist we talk at home. But I couldn't wait. I demanded her phone and drove home, leaving her behind in the parking lot. At home I checked on the kids. They were safe, sleeping, but the house felt like a stranger's place. I was in a daze, unsure of what was real anymore. My wife walked in, and again I asked her who he was and why she was there. Finally, after asking multiple times, she admitted the truth. It was him, my ex-friend from high school. He wasn't just any guy. Years ago they had secretly texted and flirted behind my back, talking about messing around while I was still dating her. I had found out back then, and it had taken a long time for me to rebuild my trust in her. Now here we were again, the same guy, the same betrayal. When trust is broken once, can it ever be fully repaired? Or will the cracks eventually shatter everything? "Did you sleep with him?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. I already knew the answer, but I needed to hear it. "Yes," she said. My world spun. I couldn't think, couldn't process. My body felt numb, but my mind was on fire. The questions started flooding in. Why? How could she do this to me? To us? To our family? She tried to calm me, explaining that it was the first time and had only been going on for a week. A week? A week was all it took to tear apart the life we'd spent years building. I asked her why, but she couldn't answer. She just stood there, unable or unwilling to explain what had driven her to do something so devastating. After she walked away, I grabbed all the keys in the house to stop her from leaving and warning him. I took her phone and started digging through it, desperate to understand where this betrayal had come from. There were no texts, but I found the messages on Snapchat. It was all there, every detail. They had planned everything, right down to the room number at Motel 6. They even joked about turning off location tracking. What do you do when you have all the answers but still can't comprehend the betrayal? I couldn't take it anymore. I had to confront him. I drove back to Motel 6, angry beyond words. When I arrived, I banged on his door, but he wasn't there. Just as I was about to leave, I saw him pulling into the lot, carrying food. He looked confused as I approached, and I didn't waste any time. "Why the hell would you do this?" I demanded. He stammered, trying to explain, but his words meant nothing to me. He had taken everything from me and thought it was a joke. I couldn't stop myself from quoting his messages, the sickening exchanges between him and my wife. They had laughed about hiding the affair, joked about how good they were together. I wanted to hit him, wanted to break him the way he had broken me, but somehow I walked away. How do you restrain yourself when everything inside you is screaming for revenge? When I got home, she was in bed with our 5-year-old son, freshly showered and pretending like nothing had happened. But I couldn't pretend. We needed to talk. I wanted answers. Answers she couldn't seem to give me. She said she had done it because she was curious and liked the attention. I couldn't believe it. I had always given her attention, always tried to be affectionate, spontaneous, even seductive. But it hadn't been enough for her. Nothing had been enough. I reminded her of the last time I had tried to be romantic, just a week earlier on Labor Day. I had kissed her neck, been playful, and she had stopped me. Now I understood why. That same week she had been talking to him. The hardest part, though, wasn't the betrayal itself. It was knowing that my 8-year-old daughter had waited up for her mother while she was with another man. That broke me in a way I can't even describe. I walked outside, overwhelmed by the pain, and broke down. I cried until I had a panic attack, my body convulsing with the weight of it all. When I finally made it to the shower, I let the cold water pour over me, trying to wash away the anguish, but it wouldn't go away. I threw up, the stress and heartbreak too much for me to handle. When the pain becomes too much to bear, how do you find the strength to keep going? Eventually I made it to bed, but I couldn't sleep. The images wouldn't stop playing in my mind, her with him, every detail of their betrayal. I lay there, cold, numb, and broken, while she slept next to me as if nothing had happened. Now I sit here wondering what to do next. In 2 weeks we'll celebrate 11 years of marriage. We have 3 beautiful children, and I have always been faithful, honest, and open with her. I've told her everything, shared every detail of my life. My coworkers know how much I love her and how excited I was to grow old with her. I've even said I'd find her in the afterlife to love her again. But now I'm lost. I don't know how to move forward. The betrayal is still fresh, and I can't stop thinking about what happened. What should I do? After 11 years of love, trust, and family, is there any way to heal from a betrayal this deep? Or is this the end of everything? The story has come to an end, but the journey doesn't stop here. Thank you for exploring the stories that shape us. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. See you again soon.